Hello everyone, welcome back to the Alteryx tutorials. In this video we are going to discuss about some more tools that are present in the data preparation group in Alteryx. So the first tool that we are going to look in this is the formula tool. So the formula tool is actually used to create new columns, update the columns, or use the expressions to perform a variety of the calculations on the already existing values that are present in the columns. Okay, so we can use it to apply conditional statements, convert the data type from one to another, format the dates, extract file paths, apply algorithms, clean the data, apply the validations, or perform the tests, etc. Okay, so let us see how are we going to use this formula tool. So right now I have got the same data set, that is the consumer sheet from the sample store data set. Okay, and I have cleansed it, that is removed the inconsistencies. Now let's just bring up our formula tool to here, and in this what I'm going to do is in the configuration panel I have two options. Either I can just select a column and that data would be overwritten, or I can add a new column. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new column. So add a column, and then you got to specify the name of the column. So that's going to be profit/loss. Okay, and here what I'm going to do is apply a conditional statement that this conditional statement, if the value of the profit, so for getting the column names we can simply just use a square bracket. So we have the profit value over here. If the profit value is greater than equals to 0, then the value in this column is going to be profit, else it is going to be loss. Okay, like this. And whatever the text for value you want, you need to just write it in the single quotes. Okay, so the size we can just specify over here. It's going to be the data type we can check is going to be the variable string, and click on run. Now it's going to take a few seconds, 1.6 seconds to be precise, and as you can see we should be getting a new column over here. And here on the very last you can see the column profit and loss. If the values are positive, then we are getting the value profit. If it is negative, then we are getting the value loss. Okay, so here is a warning in the profit that there was a large value over here, but it has been rounded up by Alteryx for clarity. Okay, so that's why the red is being shown over here, the red mark is being shown over here. So this is one way of using the formula tool, right? Just like this, you can actually make changes into the existing data. Like right now, if you just don't want to add an extra column, so we want to apply another formula, and the thing is that I want to get the profit and the loss, the same thing, but in this column only, that is the value that is showing me profit, in that value only I want this to happen. So I can just select the column, and here I'm just going to select the profit column. Okay, now if I just click on run, then what would happen is the values in that particular column would be overwritten. Okay, so there is an error. The thing is that we wanted string value, but the field is numeric, so that's why it's not happening. So let me just change it a little bit. That is over here, if there is a profit, then I want 100 to be written over there, else I want 0 to be written over here. Okay, or I can just actually change its data type as well, like it's double, so 100 and 0 would be okay. Let's click on run. Now if you just go to this output panel, and here we have only two values, 100 and 0, 100 and 0. So this is how you can actually update the existing values or create a new column. Now in case you want to remove any formula, you can just go to that formula, and here is this delete button. You can just delete that, And now if you again run it, then the changes that were made initially would be overwritten, and you would be getting the original values of the profit that were present in the column. So this is how we work with a formula tool to either add new columns or update the existing columns, right? Next tool that we are going to talk about is the sample tool. So let's just go to the sample tool. Now what is the sample tool? It is used to limit the data stream to a specified number, percentage, or a random set of rows. Also, if you want a selected configuration to the columns, so to be applied, you can group the columns using the sample tool. So let's just get the sample tool over here. And as soon as we get it, this is the configuration panel that we are getting. The first option is the first n rows. It returns every row in the data from the beginning to the data through the value of n. Like you can specify a value of n. Here you can see right now if we just run it, so it would return the first 100 rows. As you can see, first 100 has been shown over here because the value of n was 100. But if we just set it to 10 and then run it, so what will it do is it would just show you the first 10 rows. Okay, so you can set the value of n. Next option is last n rows, which of course is used to show us the last n rows, the value of n, which you can specify as per your wish. Next is skip first n rows, which returns all the rows in the data that start after the specified number of rows. Next we have one of every n rows. That means return the first row of every group of n rows. Like if I just select 10, so the whole record would be split into groups of 10, and the first row in each group would be returned to me. So if you just run it, then we would be able to see the changes like through this row ID, like 1, then 12, then 26, then 48. This is how the rows are being returned to me. Okay. Next is 1 in n chance to include each row. That means it would return randomly. It would randomly determine if each row is included in the sample or not. So the random values are being returned to me, as you can see, from the row ID itself. 11, then 20, then 21. Randomly the rows are being returned to me. Okay. So then we have the first n% of rows. That means it returns the n%, in this case the 10% of rows. It requires the data to pass through the tool twice, like once we calculate the count of rows and then to return the specified percent of rows. Okay, then we can just run it to get the n% of rows. That's the 10% of the rows out of the total values. Okay, so there were around 5,191 records. So 519 records, that's the 10% of the records, have been displayed over here. Okay, next we have is the group by option. So if you want to group it on the basis of some column, that you can do. Let's just group it by category and just get the first 10 rows to be grouped by category. We can click on run. So this is what we would be getting in the output. Okay, so furniture categories, then the office supplies categories and the technology categories have been used to group by the values. So this is how the sample tool works for us. Next we have is the sort tool. So the sort tool is actually very important, and as the name suggests, it is used to sort the data. So let's see how it works. It actually takes two things into consideration. Let's just get the sort tool over here. It takes two things into consideration: the name and the order. So basically any of the name of the field that you want to sort and in which order you want to sort, if in the ascending order or in the descending order. Okay, so let's just delete this tool once and let's see how we manually apply it, like without using this tool. Okay, so now if we just run this, we would be getting our hands on the data set. Okay, yeah, so if you want to sort the values, like I want to sort it on the basis of the sales, so let's just go to the sales column, click on these three dots, go to sort, and I want to sort it on the basis of the ascending order. Then click on apply. So once we do that, we can click on this this green tick button. and you would see that it has been applied. If you just click on the output, actually run the workflow. So here is what we would be getting, the sorted values. Like you can see, the value have been sorted on the basis of the sales, the ascending order. The sort tool has already been applied and the name is taken as sales and the order is taken as ascending. So this is the usage of the sort tool. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching.